Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 13 of Really Fake, and this one is titled, Why is the Door Flirting? Your gaze followed Wink Man as he huddled his teammates to give them a pep talk, and then broke apart, heading to the court to do some practice shots. Winking Man was a really good-looking guy who oozed confidence, and you watched as he walked to the volleyball cart and picked up a ball with one hand, running his other hand lazily through his hair before flicking his head to the side to sweep his fringe out of the way. He calmly raised the volleyball up and easily smacked it across the net to a waiting teammate on the other side, who received it easily. Oof, that looked effortless. Lucky volleyball, though, being smacked like that, you thought, as you looked back at your new person of interest. As you looked at him, you saw him glance at you and then look back towards his teammate. "Iwa-chan," he sung cheerily to the teammate. "Toss it back to me and I'll receive." The guy called Iwa-chan rolled his eyes and then lobbed the ball back to Wink Man, who crouched and stepped slightly to the left, just nicking the ball and sending it shooting across the court towards you. You gasped and ducked, covering your head with your hands as the ball flew towards you. With a loud thwack, you heard it hit the wall just beside you, and you flinched as you held your head in a lowered position. "Oh gosh, sorry about that," a pleasant voice apologized, and you quickly looked up into the beautiful, calm eyes of the hottie that had winked at you earlier. "Oh, you're fine. I'm fine. Sorry, I'm okay," you flubbed. He chuckled playfully. "I'm glad to hear it. I wouldn't want to hit that beautiful face of yours. That would be a crime," he flirted casually. You froze for a second. You giggled, looking down at your lap. "What's your name, cutie? Is it okay if I call you cutie?" the alluring Albajosai player asked. "I'm Yin," you replied bashfully, as you looked back up into his eyes. "It's my pleasure to meet you, Yin. My name's Oikawa Toru," he replied with a warm smile. "But please, call me Toru. I'd like to think that we're going to be, close. So best we get on a first-name basis," he said with a sexy smirk. "Anyway, I better get back to practicing. Make sure you cheer for me, yeah?" And with that, he jogged backwards a bit before giving you a sexy smirk and turning to head back to the court. "Wait, Oikawa? Timmy Mullins?" you thought, remembering what Kuroo had said. "What did Shirikawa want?" Kuroo asked as he strolled over to you. "Did you just call him Shirikawa?" you splurted at Kuroo. "Yeah, 'cause he is one," Kuroo chuckled. Kagayama from Kurosuno overheard the vice-captain of the Albajosai team call him that during a match, and I think it's perfect. Kuroo looked over to Oikawa, who was watching you both from the corner of his eye. "Well, that's mean," you replied, crossing your arms across your chest. "What do you want?" Kuroo asked as his sharp gaze locked back onto you. "Nothing," you said quickly. "He just apologised for the stray ball," you added, completely leaving out the flirting part that had happened. Kuroo hummed as he smirked at you. "You okay?" "Yep," you replied, looking back up at him. "Aren't you going to practice?" Kuroo smiled pleasantly without saying another word as he turned around, the smile immediately leaving his face once he had turned his back to you. He stalked back to his side of the net, cat-like eyes giving Oikawa a death stare, which the latter smirked proudly at him. You returned your gaze back to this mysterious Oikawa person and found to your delight that he was already smiling at you. He gave you the victory sign before tossing the volleyball up in the air and catching it again. You smiled and covered your mouth to hide it while you looked over at Kuroo, who was busy talking with his teammates. Suddenly you got a brainwave. Wait, what if Toru asked me out and we actually started dating? I wouldn't have to be faking it with someone who doesn't let me back. I'd actually have a real boyfriend. You looked back to Oikawa, who was practicing his serves now. The teams finished practicing and had a small break before the match began, and Oikawa came over to you again. "So, you go to this school then, cutie?" he asked as he sat down beside you. Yeah," you stammered nervously. Shame," he said with a sigh. "I wish you came to my school. We get to hang out a lot." "We still can. We can Tell you what, if we win, go on a date with me," he said as he gave you a sexy smile. "It'll be fun." A date? Yeah, sure," you replied with surprise. "Really?" he asked with faux surprise. "I'm honoured you'd consider me," he added with a bright smile. "Oh, he's so cute," you thought dreamily as you gazed at his face. "Well, I'd better get back to my team," Oikawa said as he reached over and patted your hand. "I'll be back to chat after we win," he added with his cheeky tongue poking out a little bit. "Sure," you replied quietly as you watched him get up and jog over to his team. "Oi, Mr. Steele, your girl's talking to Yin, a teammate of Kuroo said to the tall volleyball captain. Let him talk, Kuroo said in a low voice as he looked away. I don't care. Yes, you do, Kenma said softly from beside him. You do care what's going on. Do not. Kuroo snapped at the smaller player. She's not my real girlfriend anyway. But you wish she was, Kenma whispered underneath his breath as he looked over at you. What was that, Puddinghead? Kuroo asked pointedly. Kenma shrugged nonchalantly and looked away. Just as Kuroo was about to ask Kenma again, the whistle blew and both teams were called over to shake hands. Oikawa and Kuroo approached each other and Kuroo put his pleasant smile on. I'm looking forward to the game, he said as he extended his hand to the handsome Albajosai captain. Oh, it will be, Oikawa replied happily. And we'll win, because I have a date hinging on this. Kuroo gripped Oikawa's hand firmly and Oikawa chuckled lowly. What's the matter, Captain? Have I riled you up? He jabbed with a pleasant voice. Don't be mad that I'm better than you, in every sense of the word. Kuroo maintained his cool on the surface, but his crushing handshake told Oikawa that he was well and truly pissed, exactly what Oikawa wanted. Oof, what a stirrer. Stay tuned for chapter 14 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.